Thank you for coming to our Meet the Candidates event tonight. This is your chance to get to know the people that are running for a seat on the Library Board of Trustees. There are 3 open seats on the 2024 ballot, 1 5-year seat, a 2-year seat, and a 1-year seat. Seats will be filled in order of the number of votes received. Running for a seat on the board are, in ballot order, Valer Masau, Michelle Walsh, Laura Deetta, Gail Sacko, Joe Lombardo, and more, who will be appearing by video tonight, Michelle Kellerer, and Maggie Casey, who unfortunately couldn't be with us this evening.
Maggie Casey.
Can't be with us this evening. These candidates have been invited to speak with us this evening. The 2024-25 Board of Trustees election will be held on Tuesday, May 21st, in conjunction with the library budget vote. An outline of the proposed budget is available in the most recent edition of our Footnotes newsletter and online. Candidates have been invited to give a 3-minute statement about themselves and their reasons for seeking a spot on the Board of Trustees. The comments will be taped for broadcast on our YouTube channel, which should be up tomorrow. Candidates will not be taking questions from the public during the formal presentation, but following their statements, there will be additional time for informal conversations over refreshments at the back of the room.
Hello, everyone. Excuse my accent. My name is Valer Masau, and I'm an immigrant. I came here as a student and eager to pursue academic opportunities and the American dream. Back home in Tanzania, the American Library in Dar es Salaam was the most important source of information to myself and many underserved people until it was closed and reinvented as American Space after the 1998 terrorist bombing of the U.S. embassies in Tanzania, Dar es Salaam, and Nairobi, Kenya. In America, we are blessed to have on-demand and contemporary informational sources. And the library is one of the core instruments of a community that cares about information flow and rigor. The library should be a political instrument because it must amicably better serve all the community members and the people from all walks of life without intimidation. Also, I do believe that we should scrutinize our spending because we are good stewards of the community that we serve. Where we can avoid adding economic burden on unfunded mandate, we should do so and realize the ongoing economic hardship to our people. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for coming out tonight. My name is Michelle Walsh, and I'm very happy to be seeking re-election to the Bethlehem Library Board. I've been a member, or resident rather, of Del Mar for nearly 24 years. My husband and I moved here when we were first married, and we raised 2 daughters here in Bethlehem. I can say that, in all honesty, this library was a cornerstone of their upbringing. As a family, we availed ourselves of everything this library has to offer, and we truly love it here. As I said, just to give you a little background on my volunteer work, as I said, both daughters went through education here in Bethlehem, and so there were many volunteer opportunities with the PTA as committee chair and committee member, and various opportunities between preschool, elementary, middle, and high school. I also volunteered significantly with my church over the past 24 years, including a mission trip to Nicaragua. Volunteer work for me, it keeps my mind open. It keeps me feeling connected to the community, and it's very meaningful work. So as I said, I'm seeking re-election to the Bethlehem Library Board, so I'm volunteering to do it all over again. I've been here 5 years. I've been with the board for 5 years. For 4 of those years, I've served as vice president. I've learned a lot about collaborating with others and making decisions as a group. This can be challenging work. but I do find it fulfilling. In my professional life, I'm a lobbyist. I work for a small firm in Albany. We represent several clients on health issues, but the bulk of my work focuses on summer camps and the issues that they face attempting to operate in New York State. I analyze proposed legislation and regulations to determine their impact, and I act as a liaison between our clients and state government. And I think this work translates well for the library board in that insofar as advocating on behalf of Bethlehem taxpayers and acting as a liaison between our community and the library board. Also, over the past 5 years, I have worked very hard to ensure that the taxpayer money the library receives is well spent. I'm excited about the future of our library. I think our director and the staff, they do an amazing job with lending materials and programming in today's ever-changing landscape of information. This library manages to do it all. They keep up with national trends. They, like I said, doing it all from books to historical programs. Jeff's telling me I need to hurry up. They do it all here, from books to historical programs and career help, puppet shows, raptors, reptiles, story time, cooking, sewing, musical performances, everything. It's endless what this library can do, and I would be honored to continue to be part of that. So again, my name's Michelle Walsh, and thank you very much for your time.
All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Laura Deetta, and I have been serving on the Bethlehem Library Board since September when I was appointed to fill a vacant seat. I apologize, my sinuses do not enjoy spring as much as I do. So first, a little bit about me. My family has lived in Bethlehem since 2015, but I've lived in the Capital District since college. One of my first jobs actually was at Hollyhock Hollow Sanctuary right here in Selkirk. I'm a mom to a 10-year-old who goes to Hammergrail, and we very much love biking, walking, just generally visiting the library, whether it's to attend a children's program, browse for books, or work on the community puzzle. This library is very much one of the reasons why we chose to make Del Mar our home. I have a degree in public policy and a graduate certificate in urban policy, both from the University of Albany, and I spent about 20 years working for environmental nonprofits before switching over to state service. And I've been director of outdoor recreation at the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation for 7 years now. And part of what I do is develop initiatives that help promote public access to nature and the outdoors. And there's a lot of parallels between access to parks and access to books, and I believe very strongly that libraries like parks are essential community infrastructure. Here in Bethlehem, I've served on the Park Playground, Elm Avenue Park Playground Committee, redesigning that playground, and I served on the Bicycle and Pedestrian Committee for 6 years. I became, in 2021, the very proud steward of a Little Free Library, the Little Free Diverse Library Del Mar. And through that, really just became much more immersed in the national discourse on book challenges and the evolving role of public libraries in their community. But my interest and commitment to libraries really began at a young age, volunteering at the local library in Queens, where I grew up. And when I lived in Schuylerville, I was a volunteer with the Library Friends Group. So when I learned that the board was seeking to fill an open seat last summer, I did not hesitate to apply, and I was thrilled to be appointed and have the opportunity to serve the community in this way and really bring all of my experiences to this position. From overseeing multi-million-dollar public projects and developing policies, programs, and events, to communications and promoting equity and inclusion. It has been, as Michelle said, a very challenging few months for the library. And trustees, along with staff, have been putting in a lot of time to try to address those challenges. But the experience has only deepened my commitment to what I think is one of the most important roles for trustees, and that's defending the First Amendment, free speech, and uncensored access to books, information, and programs. But it is so much more than that. I am eager to continue to support the library in ensuring programs and resources reflect the community, are inclusive, and that the library is equipped to adapt to change. And I'm also excited to help advance the building renovation project, working with my fellow trustees, staff, consultants, and residents to make sure that we're creating a space that's going to meet the needs of the library and the community for the next 50 years, including ensuring a more sustainable design, and that we address the demand for library programming space, as well as ensure our core mission and function of providing access to books and resources to facilitate lifelong learning is met. So, again, I'm Laura Deetta. I would be honored to continue serving this amazing institution. Thank you.
My name's Gail Sacko. I'm running for the position of trustee on the Bethlehem Public Library. I've lived in Bethlehem for 38 years. I've worked in libraries for more than 40 years. My first job was as a library page in Connecticut. I have a master's degree in librarianship from the University of Chicago, and for the past 34 years, I've been the executive director of the Voorheesville Public Library, and I have been retired from that for the last several years. I have a deep understanding of the Bethlehem Library structure, its relationship to the community school district, and to the taxpayers. My goals are simple. I want to bring my 34 years of experience to the Bethlehem Public Library and help it move forward while making sure hard-earned taxpayer dollars are well spent and well used. This means supporting existing and creating new library programs and services that reflect our entire community. Libraries are uniquely positioned to enhance community engagement in a respectful environment that values freedom of thought and access to information. Public libraries also must fight book bans and the drive to curtail freedom of speech. In these divisive times, public libraries are a bastion of freedom that must be protected, nurtured, and supported. I could tell you more. I'm happy to answer your questions. I'm Gail Sacko, and I'm running for the position of trustee of the Bethlehem Public Library. Thank you very much.
I'm Joe Lombardo. I'm also running for the board here at the library. I've been a member of this community for 35 years. My two children went through the Bethlehem school districts. All the schools, they utilized the library as I did. A very important organization, institution for any community, but in this community also, with a beautiful library building, beautiful library facilities. I was very proud. And the reason I'm running is I'm a member of Bethlehem Neighbors for Peace, which used this room for the past 20 years to show films, to have speakers on very important subjects, on peace and freedom, on what has happened in this community. We had, for instance, one of the talks by the woman who was the daughter of the first black family that moved into Bethlehem and the problems that they faced. You couldn't have got that program anywhere else. When the war in Iraq started, the library here did a wonderful thing. The government sent out to all the libraries something under what was called the Patriot Act. They wanted information on what books people were reading. If a high school student came here and said, I want to research terrorism, I want to research socialism, the library had to report that. Did that affect their college? Did that affect their job? Did that affect their life? But the library here said, no, we are opposed to that, we won't do it. It was a very proud movement in library history. But then there started to be a curtailment of rights of freedom of speech right here in this library. There used to be a cable TV here that many people utilized. Bethlehem Neighbors for Peace had a monthly meeting on it. People watched it. We would put it on YouTube. People would see it from all over the world and comment. Other groups, religious groups, had programs that went on there. They said for people that couldn't get out of their house to see their services, this was a lifeline for them. But it was ended. that was a curtailment of freedom of speech and rights for our community. We were then told other things we couldn't do. We couldn't sell books. We couldn't distribute literature. We couldn't sell bumper stickers. And then we had a program on a very controversial topic here in this room. We had a man who was an Israeli citizen, the son of a general in the Israeli military, but who came out against what Israel is doing right now and called for a ceasefire. It was a very contentious meeting. They were shouting and so forth. There were people that tried to get that meeting stopped. And that man did something, who spoke when he went into the parking lot. Now, I'm not even sure this happened because I can't find someone that saw it. They say he sold one of his books, and that was against the regulation of the library. And so Bethlehem Labors for Peace, after 20 years here, and in this community, was banned from use of the library. That is a curtailment of freedom of speech at a time when freedom of speech, and in a place where freedom of speech must always be guaranteed. So I decided to run to bring up this issue on the board. We don't want to be like Florida, where they say to the libraries what books they can have in there, that they can't teach what they call critical race theory. We want to be opposed to racism. We want to be opposed to anti-Semitism, opposed to Islamophobia, opposed to anti-gay, because it's only without prejudice on what you say and what you do and who you are that we can have the freedom of speech that the library needs. So I hope you agree with me. I have some flyers there on what I'm running for. Please take them, and I hope you all vote for me. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Ann Moore. I'm running to fill one of the 3 seats open on the Bethlehem Library Board of Trustees, and I am asking for your support. I am a retired high school science teacher, administrator, and 37-year resident of the town of Bethlehem. I live in the library neighborhood, and my family has enjoyed the library for many years. I decided to run for the library board because I have several concerns about the direction the leadership of the library is taking. I am concerned about the $36 million proposed addition and renovation to the library. This is an enormous amount of money, and the largest portion of the cost is to be used to build an addition to the library that houses meeting spaces, but not library resources such as books, media, computers, etc. The addition is referred to as an increase in on-demand spaces in the information supplied on the library website. The library has purchased the house at 59 Borthwick Avenue, the yellow house located at the exit to the parking lot, and plans to tear it down to construct the addition. The meeting room space will be able to accommodate 250 plus people. By comparison, the largest meeting room in the main branch of the Albany Public Library holds 120 people. Anyone can request the use of the meeting room space, and residents of the Bethlehem Central School District will pay the cost. It will change the nature of the library. Parking and security issues are certain to become more problematic than they already are. Like most residents, I have always valued the library and its staff. Libraries are the holders of history and knowledge, and the gateways to creativity and imagination. They are places for growth. I support updates and improvements to the library and a robust collection of resources to meet the interests and needs of the community. However, the current plan transforms the library into a community center for use by all at a significant increase in taxes only for Bethlehem Central School District residents. As a former high school administrator and educator, I am well familiar with the freedoms and restrictions of the First Amendment. I firmly believe people have the right to speak their minds, but do not agree that the library is the definitive place for their expression, especially when children are often at the library when speakers are there. I wish to be a trustee because I believe we can have library-appropriate speakers and presentations without contentious fallout and lawsuits. The library is one of the town's best assets, and I will work to keep it that way for all residents to use and enjoy. I look forward to serving the Bethlehem Central School District community and welcome your comments and questions. While I could not be here in person tonight, I encourage you to send any questions or comments to Jeff Kirkpatrick, the library director, so I may address them immediately upon my return. Please vote on May 21st at the high school.
My name is Michelle Kellerer, and I'm also running for a position of trustee for the library board. I have lived in the town of Bethlehem for over 50 years. During this time, I raised 7 children who attended Bethlehem Central School System. I'm a physical therapist, a wife, a mother, a grandmother, and a great-grandmother. I received my physical therapy degree from Ithaca College in 1966. And subsequently completed a master's program in rehabilitation counseling from SUNY Albany. This program was 60 credits, which I was able to complete in 18 months. During this time, I spent many hours in this library doing research for projects and writing my thesis, all while being a single mom and working full-time. In 1985, I opened a physical therapy practice on Booth Road in Delmar. This grew until I employed 6 therapists and ancillary staff. In 2001, I moved my practice to my home in Slingerlands, where I chose to be the sole practitioner. My specialties include treating chronic pain and lymphedema, and I also provide compression stockings for my clients. I have a long history with the Bethlehem Library, as my children grew up here, and we fondly remember the many library functions, programs, and concerts on the lawn. I do not take the trustee position lightly. I believe that as a local business owner and employer, I have honed my skills in listening and evaluating the needs of our community. I am proud to say that I am a traditionalist, and the library has a long history of independent, apolitical administration that I would like it to return to. I would like to see this institution focus on education, learning, and current events that we all face and which unite us. I will work hard to avoid polarizing controversies that tend to divide us. In addition, I'm not convinced that the $36 million library expansion project is needed. Given that many Bethlehem residents are struggling to cope with the spiraling cost of living, no doubt the current building is aging and needs improvement, but being good stewards of the public's money is a fiduciary responsibility of its elected officials. I trust that we need diverse perspectives on the board, and I hope to provide that should I be elected to be one of the trustees.